think it's easier to like define our audience. I think magazines like The Burr, it's like a general interest magazine, and just like that definition alone, it's like, well, who wants to read it? Like, what do they expect? But with Fusion, like, you know what you expect. You have an audience that, like Adam said, is ready to consume it. I think that's what probably sets us apart. It's what lets a magazine thrive. You know
and Fusion is kind of a general interest LGBT studies, or LGBT issues magazine. I mean, it's obviously has the LGBT focus, but it's pushed out for the whole majority audience. So it's not just for the LGBT populations on campus, and that's what makes it so strong. If it was, we'd only print maybe 2,000 copies. I mean, if that's all we were trying to go for, we'd saturate the market with a few thousand copies. I mean, the fact that we've grown 200% in circulation over the past 2.5 years is a testament to how diverse the stories are and its appeal. I mean, more than just lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders on campus are interested in reading about these things. I mean, it's about starting a conversation and how we all interface with each other in our daily lives. The focus is broadening, and I mean, we just had Chris's editor interview this week, and I told everyone there, I was like, you know, if we can get Fusion to saturate Ohio to really be a magazine that reaches all points of Ohio regionally, I think at this time next year we'll be able to have the conversation, like, how does this look, or what do we do to kind of take this idea and base it at Kent State, but take it to the national level. And I think that it's really exciting, but I do think that, I mean, we have Cincinnati, we have Pittsburgh, we had Columbus, like, we do have to own these markets that we're trying to hit now and do better there and make more strategic connections in those areas before we try to blow it up to the whole country. Because there isn't a Fusion for the whole country. No one targets 18 to 24 LGBT people. It's just not there. And I don't think anyone's really tried to do it like we do here, and I think it would be an interesting experiment. I think it just raises awareness, and like the fact that it is targeted, and many people have told me that we've done a magazine that doesn't hit just the community, it hits everyone, and it kind of rationalizes out that these aren't just people that you can like watch and giggle and laugh at. I mean, these are people that are sitting in your classes, these are your professors, these are your friends, your family. It kind of brings it to that real personal level, and I think, I mean, this is what Harvey Milk talked about in the 70s when he had his campaigns, is that you have to bring it to the one-on-one personal level. If you know someone and you're open with them and you are honest with them and hold them accountable, it's a lot harder for most people to be ignorant and belligerent when it's to your face and you are their son or their daughter or their friend, and you've been that son, daughter, or friend, and you finally come out and nothing really changes. It's just another part of who you are, and that's what Fusion's done. It's considered the people. I mean, I sit back at the end of each issue and I was like, damn, we did a lot of people. Like, we did a lot of profiles. But I mean, after you sit there for a while and you think, you know, that's how you tell people stories. That's how you tell the stories. You can do issue stories. That's great. But unless you get the people in the issue stories, you don't really have much of a story. You can't really convince people either way. You have to show. You can't just tell someone how they're supposed to think. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather have 8 million profiles in the magazine versus 10 issue stories that really don't go below the surface. So I think we've done a really good job of connecting people who are known in the community, people who are known around campus and in the area, to the mass audience, and kind of use them as conduits. Like, we used Aaron to talk about HIV. We have Danielle Vasquez in this issue talk about drag queens and just kind of the club culture around here. We have Sue Dorfer, who's the executive director of Equality Ohio. Like, these are people that the audience might not know per se, but they might have heard of, they might know of the group, they might know that there are movements in Ohio for LGBT rights, and it's just kind of putting a face on that issue to make it a little more personal.
We talked about Aaron's story, probably for
Yeah, Aaron Dar, the 19-year-old positive senior at Jackson High School. It's just a compelling story that Laura worked on for 10 months altogether, and I mean, it's an amazing look at something that you hear about. You see the statistics, you hear about it, but you don't really know anyone. Most people don't know someone that's positive, I think. So it's an interesting look at how it's to him, it's just something else that goes on in his life. It's not a huge deal. Fusion does, I think, the best financially. I mean, we beat our ad goals. We were 130% for ad sales this year. It's just a magazine. The mission's there, the focus is there, and people are picking it up. I mean, we go around campus and we have to put more out. It goes. It just gets picked up. It gets consumed. I think people really want to know what's going on. The covers are attractive. People want to get inside of it and find out. And when you have a magazine, you tell advertisers that, they want to buy it. They want to buy into it. So.
Like, I mean, it was literally smaller.
It's 8 by 8.
It was one of those things, like, I never, like, looked at it.
Didn't think it was a magazine.
Didn't
think it was a magazine.
I remember, like, the covers, too, were just, like, darker. I remember, like, black and red or something. I just, like, didn't even want to look at it. Like, it wasn't even pretty.
the first issue, this was my 5th one for spring 2010, and the first one I did was still 8x8. We only had color on the front and then like 8 pages on the inside. It was only like 40 pages. It's just, I mean, when we made that jump to full color, 8.5 by 11, 48, now 56 pages. I mean, it just looks more legit. And I don't know, the tone of the magazine always kind of was that, I mean, there was always like darkness, and it was always like there was like these shadows cast, like coming out of the shadows, like still very much that mindset, I guess. And it started 6 years ago, and I think we've come beyond that, especially here at Kent State. So I think the magazine just kind of reflects where we are here right now, and I think it's definitely a beacon and a sign that there's change happening at Kent State. Maybe if you don't feel like that way in the general population, I think stuff's happening here.